Bonjour everybody. Thanks for tuning in to watch our first regular chief update to the community on video. This is something we've been thinking about for a few months, but finally managed to put it together now to share in a visual format of the updates, what's going on in the community. This is going to be a top priority of ours going forward, and I plan on doing this at least once a month to make sure the community is abreast of all the activities within the First Nation. Keep in mind that you can reach out to me at any time through my email, jason.henry@kettlepoint.org, or to any of your council members in their respective portfolio areas. So before we get started, I want to take a minute to just send condolences and acknowledgement to the family of Audrey Brissett, who passed into the spirit world yesterday morning, and to take some time to think about Isaac Henry and his family with the tragedy that happened last week in the First Nation. Isaac is a young father in the community who suffered a tragic accident last week. He's undergone a number of surgeries over the last week and has defeated all odds in moving forward in his recovery phase. Isaac has a long road to recovery yet, and the health center has been a great help in wrapping around the family involved, providing services and counseling, writing grants for support of the family, and there's much more to come. Part of that is the community needs to lend some help as well. We have a bit of a fundraiser going where people can do e-transfers to Selena or to myself to create a fund to keep the family close to Isaac and to help working on getting the house ready for him to come home. And as we begin to get the home ready, make it accessible for Isaac, or some of you know him as Tiny, to come home, we'll be looking for your support and volunteering in the community. On the topic of volunteering, one new initiative we're working on in the First Nation is something called Snow Angels. And as you're aware, in the past, the snow removal on the First Nation in the laneways has been sort of hit and miss, no structure around that, and we're only funded to do the roads on the First Nation for snow removal. So this year we're creating a program called Snow Angels, where people can put their names forward based on their needs, be it health concerns, physical limitations, or the elderly, to have their snow removed in their laneways. But to add to that, on the volunteer list, we're looking for people to help shovel off their decks, clean off cars, and other things like that for the community members in need. That's why it's called Snow Angels. One really recent positive thing in the First Nation is we just wrapped up our annual traditional deer harvest. This year that harvest was actually a deer herd reduction because the pinery deer the population had grown so high they had asked us for our help in reducing those numbers to keep the herd safe and healthy. On the Wednesday of the hunt, we set that day aside for a special youth initiative day where hunters in the park had a youth assigned to them to mentor them, teach them, and reconnect them to the land and our hunting practices. 16 youth attended that day from the ages of 12 to 18. Only a few deer were harvested that day, but it was a very safe and productive day. Overall in the pinery, 27 deer were harvested, and many of those have been donated to families in need, those who like to have a taste of some of the wild meat that don't have a chance to hunt anymore, and a number of deer were butchered and given to the food bank in the First Nation. Another ongoing initiative in the First Nation is corporate restructuring. Our corporations historically have been very overburdened by overhead and large widespread corporate structures. Historically, we have 5 corporate boards, which are governed by about 18 board of directors. This is a large process that can be cumbersome and very costly to the businesses. And as many of us are aware, the majority of our businesses are not making profit. Some of that could be due to the overhead or the bureaucracy and the current governance structure. The chief and council aren't looking to close businesses or cut jobs or shave any of the activity going on. We're merely looking at restructuring the governance so that our businesses can be more efficient and improve the bottom line. We want to recognize all the hard work that's been done over the years from the staff, from the board of directors and the community in supporting our businesses, and we look forward to a prosperous future in the corporate area. In Stony Point, we have some great updates as well, and as many of you may have noticed, the clearance remediation activities, the unexploded ordnance and environmental work has wrapped up for this season and will restart again next year. And to keep that in connection with the corporate discussion, the Chief and Council has relied on the South Winds Board to work on a joint venture to create business opportunities in Stony Point, creating work for our members both on Kettle and Stony Point, and getting our land back to the level it needs to be to return to our First Nation. This is an ongoing initiative. We don't have any big announcements in that area yet, but it's still an ongoing initiative. Also in Stony Point, to mention, is transitional housing. And historically, National Defence, Canada, any other agencies have always argued with the First Nation on whose responsibility that is to fund transitional housing. As recent as last week, we had discussions in Ottawa with Indigenous Services Canada, the Director General, and the Department of National Defence, and it's our understanding, our belief, that Canada has now accepted that responsibility and is invested in funding that work to rebuild transitional housing. And the word transitional is a word that was given to us from the government. Our belief is it's not going to be transitional, it's going to be housing at Stony Point going forward. There's more to come on that, and that all begins with community consultation and discussions with the people that are affected directly by those initiatives going on. So look forward to more discussions about that. Before I wrap up here for the day, I want to mention that also Council last night, during our limited session we had, made a motion to carry forward with an initiative that we have ongoing with the First Nations Infrastructure Institute. We're moving forward with a feasibility study on a comprehensive plan for wastewater collection, roads, sewers, and infrastructure of a lower part of the First Nation. It's a very large project. We're looking at new and innovative ways of funding, financing, and carrying forward the work in the First Nation. This will be a multi-year project. We'll have more results and more understanding late in March of this year, but if the Council endorses this initiative, we'll be looking at starting work likely in the year 2021. Before I let you all go, I just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you again. Miigwech.